So, okay, what else is going on this week?
So, this week, we are in danger of losing even more rights. So now we see that people, first, Trump was like, oh, I'm just, deporting folks who are undocumented, even though none of these people were given any due process in court to like prove that they didn't have a legal right to be here in the US. Now, the Trump administration is having border security and customs basically when you come into the country. If you're anything other than a US citizen, for now, they are checking people's phones to see if you've said anything bad about Trump. And they've denied green card holders the ability to come back into the country. Like these folks have left for vacation, can't get back in. There was a French scientist who was here on a work visa. So once again, these are all people who are here legally, have a legal, have paperwork saying that they are here legally. They are not undocumented. And border security is just saying, "Oh, I don't like your attitude about Trump, so we won't let you back in the country
And
where
what's
you
funny to
live."
me is the fact that you're saying legally reminds
Mhm.
me that there were people who thought they would be safe
Right,
because they were here
right.
legally.
Most people were basically saying, "Oh, well, it's just I'm not documented, so I'll have nothing to worry about." Yeah, no, you're right. A lot of the, I would say, not black folks, because we didn't fall for this when it came time to vote, but there were, a large percentage of the immigrant community who felt like, oh, Trump is just trying to target, folks who are not here legally, who are
That
not
didn't come the right way. I
exactly,
think
exactly.
what that really leads to is a conversation that people, it's just the oldest conversation
Hmm.
that we as black people know there is no right way.
Right. Well, we know that. That's why we didn't fall for it. But Auntie Maxine got him together today because she said, first of all, your wife Melania probably didn't come here legally. That's a question that we probably need to look into. Elon probably need to look into that as
Absolutely.
well.
If we need to get anybody up
Right.
out of here, it's them.
Boom.
Mind you, and then they want to constantly redefine or be the only ones who can define what terrorism is and
Hmm.
who are terrorists. Because you want to say that lighting Teslas on fire is an act of terrorism, but shooting up a church and killing a bunch of people as a white supremacist is not terrorism.
And that's a good point because the amount of violence that Black folks have faced in this country, like you mentioned, even just recently with Mother Emanuel Church being shot up, I remember us having to fight to get the government to mark that as domestic terrorism. Like it's always a fight when anything happens to us. So the point is that this is just another example of people. Everybody right now needs to stand the hell up and say we are not going to take this. We are not just going to hand over our rights. We don't have a king in this country, and we are not just going to hand over our rights because the reality is this all started with Trump deporting folks who he said were undocumented. Now you've got folks who they're admitting these folks are documented and here legally, and they have just been told that they're not allowed to get into the country. The next thing is U.S. citizens having their phones, even though it's illegal, having their phones searched to say who can and cannot be here, because that's basically what's happening with these folks who are legal residents who are, being stopped, green card holders who are being stopped.
And I honestly think that we won't get I really think that we are not going to break through this until white people are uncomfortable enough to really flip the tables, because we're still seeing black folks are staying out of the streets right now, and
Hmm.
rightfully so, because we know that Trump is waiting for the opportunity to call for
Hmm.
martial law. But the reality is I'm actually loving, I've
Hmm.
been seeing
Hmm.
white people coming out of their house at the town halls.
But there's a lot you can do that doesn't even involve going into the streets. The boycotts that we've seen on these companies, these people, you hit them in the pockets, that is
Baby,
when they start crying.
Target's
So
crying.
crying, crying, and so is Elon.
Mhm.
So there's a
Uh,
lot.
Go to aisle 7 for the tissue.
Right,
Hmm.
right.
I won't be there, but you can go to aisle 7, Target. You got tissue.
Right. And you can find black folks drinking tea on aisle 3.
Absolutely, because I really, as much as I am about that life,
Hmm.
I'm about that
Absolutely.
life.
Absolutely.
What I've learned in the past year
Hmm.
is that as a black trans woman, no one's going to be running to protect me.
Right.
And so, because of that, I've got to protect myself. I know that I'm a target in this
Hmm.
country, even as a leader and someone that speaks up on Palestine.
Right.
Just because I'm a citizen
Right.
does not protect me, yeah, they might be deporting them, but they're going to find another reason to
Right.
mess with me.
And that's the thing, is that, like you said, I'm about that life as well. I have definitely spoken up on issues like Palestine and other. I've always protected the trans community. I've always protected every community that the country tends to marginalize, because I know that what it's like, I know, being a part of a couple marginalized communities. I'm a black queer woman. I know what it's like to have government targeting your very existence. And so at the end of the day, this is where I really strongly believe that we have to have a real opposition party to what is going on with these conservatives and Trump and the whole
Not
Trump
an
administration.
establishment that's really
Right.
just trying to
Not an
go along to get
establishment.
along.
Right. And when I say opposition party, that means that Dems either need to get their crap together and become a real opposition party, or we have to see something, because people are not going to just sit back and watch their rights go down the drain. Nobody wants to do that.
I'm not sitting back. I mean, I'm sitting back for now, but I'm going to tell you what I'm really doing: plotting and planning.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm crossing my T's,
Mm-hmm.
I'm dotting my I's, and I'm making sure that when it's time for things to go down, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But like right now, I see y'all not serious.